Make sure you guys are a subscriber and let me know in the comments how you complete these repairs. Well, good morning, everybody. So what we're looking at here is the pulley to our garage, or at least it's the pulley to the garage door. You have these big springs. Right now we're just trying to look at this and trying to kind of figure out how it's all put together, like how it works, where the bolts go, things like that. As you can see, the pulley, the bearing is completely gone, and the pulley itself is just grinding away at the actual bolt that holds it together. So we figured out that we have to take this little cable off, but how do we disconnect it? We got two options. It's connected just above that little wheel that you see me playing with, or we could lift it up and push it up over the pulley, and that's the wire, the safety wire. And here in a second, I'm going to show you exactly how I do it. I lift up the garage door, and as I lift up the garage door, like I just push it straight up, and I push the wire up over the pulley, and it loosens up. Everything comes loose. It takes a lot of weight off the door, and you can see the cables here are actually just dangling. And there's the spring right there. So here we're taking off our 11 millimeter bolt, and on the back side of this bolt right here, it's just a flathead screwdriver. And that's not pushing through at all. So I'm thinking I'm doing something wrong, but in reality, it's just kind of fixed to the other side. So you can see as I turn the screw, something drops off of the back side, and turns out it's actually the head of the bolt that's going through the bearing. And then once the head of that bolt's gone, though, the whole thing just falls apart. And you'll see here in a second, we were so close to a catastrophic failure. Somebody could have gotten seriously hurt. Somebody could have gotten killed, because those springs hold a lot of tension. They hold so much tension that, that basically a little soft metal pulley will eventually saw through this bearing. And you see here, I take the bearing out, and I just take the nut out, and then I actually take these little panels apart, and I'm looking to make sure I don't actually mess this up. It's really important to figure out how these little panels come together so you can put them back together. Here's the pulley up close. And replacement pulleys are not that expensive. This pulley I got from Home Depot, this was $10. $10 for this new pulley. It just took a little bit of trying to figure out how everything goes together, because I'm not a garage door guy. I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to this stuff. But you look it up, you look up schematics, you look on YouTube, you just try and figure it out. And that's where you're gonna save the most money is that when you're not paying companies to come in and do this, you're not paying for their tools, you're not paying for their time. But most of all, you're not paying for their knowledge. And that's where you got to figure out, well, is their knowledge worth my money? And honestly, most of the time is yes. Yes, their knowledge and their tools and their time is absolutely worth my money. But here in this instance, I priced it out. And to replace this pulley was going to cost me about $180 to go with my local garage door company. And $80, and I looked up the part, and the part was $10 at Home Depot. So I said, you know what? I'm going to save $170 by doing this myself. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So right here, I'm pulling the cable back through the other side of the pulley. I'm just kind of fitting everything together to make sure that I'm putting it together right. I will actually pull that cable to the bottom side of the pulley so it doesn't get stuck. And just right there, the cable's looking good. Everything's just hand tight. I'm just fitting everything together. And here, I'm taking one last look at this bearing and this bolt going through. I just can't believe how bad this was. I don't think I've ever seen anything that bad. And so close to failure. And speaking of failure, I'm going to realize very quickly that I actually forgot to after I tightened this down, I actually forgot the little the safety cable bracket that you see right there on the left. Yeah, I definitely forgot to put that through, and I'm about to find out here in a second. And also, I'm spinning this this little pulley, and it's just so wobbly. It's they're cheap little pulleys, they're inexpensive, and so I decide right here, you know what? I'm gonna take this apart. I'm gonna lube it up with some fluid film, so it's not gonna have these issues in the future, at least not for a very long time. It's really important when you get these bearings that you double check, you make sure they're lubed. You can pack them with grease. You can spray fluid film inside. You have to make sure that they're lubed up. You don't want dry bearings in here because they will not last. And here I am. I'm just playing with the pulley, spinning it, making sure that I have some lubrication. And here it is. Here's the famous fluid film. I am an absolute fan of fluid film. I love this stuff. I will use this stuff all the time. I live in Northeast Ohio, and this stuff keeps all of my tools ready. It keeps all my bearings. It keeps my vehicle safe away from salt. I absolutely love fluid film. Fluid film, sponsor this channel. So now that I have everything lubed back up, I put it back together. I'm going to rough fit everything again. And I still forgot that bracket. I'm going to find out here in a second once I tighten everything back down. And let's be honest. If you didn't take something apart and put it back together at least 3 times, did you really fix it? Did you? You sure about that? So yeah, I definitely hit that check mark with taking this apart and putting it back together like 2 or 3 times. And here I go. I'm figuring out right here. Like, man, I definitely forgot to put that through. So let's get that fixed right now. I think if I can remember correctly, this nut that I'm taking off right now was 17 millimeters. And I think the backside nut was actually 15 millimeters, or the head of the bolt. So I take it back off and I feed it through the bracket. And I feed it through everything. Everything goes smooth. There's a reason I don't tighten everything, super torque everything down. I'll put it hand tight, or I'll put it impact, like my little impact ratchet tight, until it's all the way complete. And then once it's complete, I'll tighten it down. You don't want to tighten bearings down that much, because you'll compress the metal and put stress on the balls. So I'm putting it ratchet tight and then just going a little bit more, and that's it. That's all I want to do. And there it is. There it is, all put together, all finished. What we're going to do now is we're going to get the last little nut on here. I want to say that was an 11 millimeter nut. Just putting it down ratchet tight. And then we're getting this last safety cable. We're going to put it back over the pulley. And this I do from the top side because it's kind of hard to do from the bottom side. And that's it. We're going to test out this door and make sure we're good to go. And just like that, all of our problems are solved. This pulley is going to be good to go for years to come. I mean, nothing lasts forever, especially things with bearings and super, high amounts of stress on it. It's not going to last forever, but as long as you keep an eye on it, make sure that you stop it right before it has a catastrophic failure, then you're good to go. Again, this was a $10 repair with about 60 cents of fluid film, and I saved myself probably $150 minimum. I know this wasn't like your normal Good Morning Mechanic video, but I really appreciate you guys for watching. I think it's important to know that just because you might not be a mechanic doesn't mean you can't fix everything. So thank you guys for watching, and as always, have a good morning.